Welcome to the magic of math, where we master math one video at a time. My lesson today is about function notation. The objectives we have today are that we will use function notation to evaluate and interpret functions. We will also use function notation to solve and graph functions. Here's our question. How can you use function notation to represent a function? That's what I would like you thinking about today. Function notation is a way to write a function to show that the value of the function f is dependent on the value x. So here's what it looks like. We're familiar with slope-intercept form, which is a linear function. And we could also use function notation to represent the same function. So we are going to replace the y, or our dependent variable, with f parenthesis x parenthesis. So really what we are doing is this f is naming the function. So think about you have a first name and it differentiates you from your friends or your family members. So when we have multiple lines or multiple functions, we can name them so that we can determine which function we're talking about. So we name this function f, and that's the common because of function. This is the most common variable you will see used to name a function. You may also see functions named using other variables like g and h. So math is pretty orderly, so the reason that is g and h is that's what follows f. But you might see d, so a function talking about distance might use d. Later in the video, we'll talk about a biker and use b to name our function. So this f represents a name for a function. The x is the domain of the function. So it's no different than this x. It's just talking about the function is dependent on this x. We read this as f is a function of x. So our input determines our output. So our function f is a function of x. This is how we evaluate a function. You might be asked something like this as an instruction. Evaluate the function when x is equal to 3 and x is equal to -3. All they're asking you to do is to replace x with these values. Here's another way you'll see function notation written. So the function f, when the input or the x value, our domain, has a value of 3, what does it equal? So really you're solving for y. You're used to solving for y, and we've just replaced the y with f of x to name the function. So now we're going to rewrite -3x plus 8, replacing x with 3. So here we have -3 times our input, 3, plus 8. To evaluate this, -3 times 3 is -9. One more step, -9 plus 8 is -1. So we can write this in function notation. The function with an input of 3 has an output of -1. Let's try the second. Now, when we input -3 into our function, we're going to replace x with -3. So -3 times -3 plus 8. -3 times -3 is +9. Add the 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. So now we can determine that the function with an input of -3 has an output of 17. These are also ordered pairs. If I was going to graph these points or these solutions to these functions, this would be the x-coordinate and then the y-coordinate. So the ordered pair 3, -1. This would be the ordered pair -3, 17. My x-coordinate, my y-coordinate. Your turn. I would like you to evaluate the function f for values of x, -5, 0, and 2. Please pause the video now and come back and hit play when you're ready to check your work. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and input -5 first. So we're going to find the value of the function f with an input of -5. So I replace the x with the input -5. 4 times -5 is -20, and then subtract your 7. That is -27. So this ordered pair, -5, -27, is a point on the line if this were graphed. Now we're going to solve for the function with an input of 0. We're going to replace the x with 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 subtract 7 is -7. So the function with an input of 0 has an output of -7. Again, if I were going to put this on the graph, the ordered pair 0, -7 would be a point on the line of this function. And our last one, they asked us to input 2. So I'm going to replace x with 2. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 subtract 7 is 1. So the value of the function with an input of 2 has an output of 1. Again, you could write this as an ordered pair, 2, 1. Now let's talk about using function notation. The function d of t is equal to 65t. This represents the distance in miles that you have traveled as a function of time in hours. So our function is named d because it represents distance. It doesn't have to be called d, but that's what they're doing it to make a correlation for you. What we're being asked to do is explain the meaning of d as a function of 0 equals 0 and interpret what this meaning means. So when we go to interpret this, we know that this t is 0, so time in hours is 0. So after 0 hours, our distance traveled is 0 miles. So when our input of time is 0 hours, our output is 0 miles. Your turn. The function d of t is equal to 65t, and it represents the distance in miles that you have traveled as a function of time in hours. I would like you to explain the meaning of the function d with an input of 3 and an output of 195. So go ahead and pause, write it down, and come back and hit play when you're ready to check your work. Welcome back. Here's the explanation. Our input is our time. So after 3 hours, you have traveled 195 miles. Another one for you. Same function. I would like to explain the meaning of this inequality. Go ahead and hit pause. Come back and hit play when you're ready. Welcome back. So when our function d has an input of 5, which is our time, it's going to be greater than our function of d with an input of time of 3. So what this is saying is the distance traveled after 5 hours is greater than the distance traveled after 3 hours. Now, sometimes you're going to be asked to find the value of x when given the output. So they're telling you the function f of x is equal to 6. So if we have our function f, we know that f of x is equal to 6. Remember, f of x is just another way of writing y. We're naming the function f. So this is our output. So we are going to replace f of x with 6. So let's do that. Rewriting our function, our output 6 is equal to 1/3 x subtract 4. We're going to add 4 to each side to solve for x. 6 plus 4 is 10, giving me 1/3 x on the right side. -4 and 4 are 0, so I've isolated my variable term. To solve for x, I'm going to clear the fraction, the coefficient of 1/3, by multiplying both sides by 3. 3 times 10 is 30, and 1/3 times 3 is 1, giving me a value of x being 30. So I know that f of 30 is equal to 6. When I plug in 30 for x, I will have an output of 6. Your turn. Using this function, I would like you to find the value of x when the f of x is equal to 8. Go ahead and pause. Come back and hit play when you're ready. Welcome back. Let's do the solution together. So I'm going to replace f of x with 8. So 8 is equal to negative 1/4 x plus 2. To isolate the variable term, I'm going to subtract 2 from each side of the equation. 8 subtract 2 is 6, equals to the negative 1/4 x. To get x alone, I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 4 to clear my fraction. Negative 4 times 6 is negative 24. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 is positive 1. So x is equal to negative 24. So when my input to my function is negative 24, my output is 8. We can also graph when it's in function notation because, again, this is in slope-intercept form. It's just written in function notation. So when I go to graph, this is still my y-intercept. I'll plot a point at positive 3 on the y-axis, my y-intercept. Identify that my slope is positive 3, so I'm going to rise 3 and run 1 and plot my point and connect with my line, and there's my function. The only difference now is this is not y, we're calling it the function f. Your turn. I would like you to graph this function. Go ahead and pause and come back and hit play when you're done. Welcome back. So we're going to graph our y-intercept first. We're going to plot a point on the y-axis at negative 2. And then I'm going to identify that my slope is negative 1/4. So I know that my slope is negative and my line is going to go down left to right. So I'm going to rise 1 and run a negative 4, plot my point, connect my 2 points with my line, and there's my negative sloping line with a slope of negative 1/4 and a y-intercept of negative 2. Here's one for you. This is an application now that we understand what function notation is used for. The graph shows the distance that biker A has traveled from their destination after X hours. So this function, this line, a linear function, is representing biker A. Then you are given an equation or a function for biker B, named function B. And this represents the distance that biker B has traveled from their destination after X hours. So once again, you're being asked to compare a graphed function to a function rule or an equation of a function. Here's the question I want you to pause and answer. Which biker takes more time to reach their destination? My hint would be graph biker B on the same graph as biker A. Go ahead and pause and come back when you're done. Welcome back. So let's graph this. This is our y-intercept. So they've kind of switched the mx and the b. So our slope is negative 2.5. Our y-intercept is 15. So let's graph this. So y-intercept of 15 and it slopes downward. So I'm going to go down 2.5 hours, or down 2.5 miles per hour. 2.5 miles per hour. 2.5 miles per hour, 2.5 miles per hour, and keep going down, and there is where I hit the x-axis. So I can tell that biker A that they had graphed for me finishes their trip at 3 hours. They have 0 miles left to travel at 3 hours. Biker B has 0 miles to travel after 6 hours. So biker B takes more time to reach their destination. And there you have it. That's function notation. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you name your next function. Thanks for joining me at the Magic of Math, where we master math one video at a time.